Hey, what's up, guys? My name's Isaac David. If you don't know, if you're new to the channel, I wasn't sure if I was going to put up a video this week just because, I don't know, I shot one and it just didn't feel right, and it just like, I didn't find it like particularly helpful for people, or that I did a good job in shooting it. So I just was like, I don't know if I'm going to shoot a video this week. And but here I am, and the reason that I want to shoot this video is because I might as well just talk about, why part of the reason that I didn't shoot the video, and just some of what I'm going through right now, and pretty much my whole life. And some of you can relate to this, but just, experiencing crippling anxiety at some points, and I guess when I see like young adults like my age and stuff like that, like, um, I wonder, and I always did wonder, like, do people, eh, do people worry about stuff as much as I do? Because on the outside, it seems like most people, they have it together. They're not really concerned about too much, maybe, if and they're just kind of like, going on the next thing, and maybe these new things are happening to them in their life with new stages of life and young adulthood and all that, but it's not really too big of a deal. Sorry, I'm messing with my hair. I just don't know what to do with it. I'm just, yeah, at this point. Um, but I think I'm coming to realize that that's not true. Like, I'm coming to realize that all when I grew up, like, I grew up in homeschool Christian community, and everybody was really put together. Everybody was like Christian, and like, no real problems, and it was just kind of like life was good and all that kind of thing. So growing up, when I would have like really crippling anxiety about just like random things like homeschool co-op, or like basketball practice, or whatever it is, or like a test, and I was homeschooled. Like, why are you getting so, anxious about a test for homeschooling? Like, that seems crazy. But I felt like I was crazy. And so nowadays, like, I still, there's still that remnant of that. I feel like I'm the really screwed up one, but I want to enter like something different into this conversation that I talked about a little bit on Instagram. You can follow me there if you want to. But I talked about how people with good parents, if they have like anxiety or depression, or have, body image issues, or whatever it is, self-worth issues, they feel like they need to minimize that, because why would you have this problem? It's almost like, you feel like you're being too dramatic, or you're just like the outlier and you're crazy, and you should probably just shut up about it. And because, look, nothing really too bad happened in your life, so you really don't have the justification for what you're experiencing. And so we just minimize that stuff, and we push it down, and we don't talk about it as much, because if we do, then, and all of a sudden we are the only one, then, like, we will seem weak, and we will seem inadequate, and seem just not the kind of person that we want to show people we are. Um, and I think a lot of this plays into as well, like the church. Like, let's just talk about church culture, because I think there's a little bit of a prosperity gospel going on in the church in terms of mental health, and I'll explain this a little bit. We see, you know, w- Christians will admit, like, hey, look, life isn't perfect when you're a Christian, right? You're going to experience, difficulty and trials and that kind of thing, and ultimately we won't experience perfection until Jesus comes back again. Um, but when it comes to mental health, or issues of anxiety, or body image issues, or what, like, array of things, right? Trust issues, anger, whatever. We And things that can be like more attributed to, just like our personalities, and less of like, yeah, anyway. Some people see it as like, hey, no, well, you're a Christian, so, those things should be wiped away. You shouldn't deal with those things anymore. You shouldn't struggle with those things anymore. It's like the prosperity gospel of like health, wealth, except it's like for the internal. Like you're going to be fixed internally for the most part. Maybe you'll still sin, but like you shouldn't be anxious really. Like are you not trusting God enough, or you shouldn't be depressed? Like are you not reading your Bible enough? And so, man, that's something I'm how should I put this? I'm just like I want to be a voice, if anything, for you. And if you were like, maybe you had good parents, and but yet you feel like you are just crazy because you're struggling with these things, and you feel like everyone around you is more put together, and maybe you're even behind, or you feel like you're just being dramatic. I would just say that those are real hurts and those are real struggles, and you won't be able to begin to like heal from that stuff until we begin to talk about it. And so I think in my life right now, like this is kind of a rambly video, but just we'll just go with it. In my life right now, I'm I'm in this place where I'm experiencing a lot of like just being a young adult, you have to do a lot of new things and new experiences and all this kind of thing for work or whatever, school or just life stuff. And a lot of that can be anxiety inducing. And just to be like authentic here, like I post a little bit on Instagram just that I'm like, do you ever just forget to breathe and just take a deep breath? Doesn't that feel better? Because I honestly forget to breathe some, like I'm just like so tight and like my jaw is clenched just because there's so much stress that that to me, when I look at it, I'm like, this is not justifiable stress. Like this is not a big deal, like this is okay, but yet I still experience that anxiety. So what, I have two choices here, and these are your choices here. You can say you're being over dramatic and you should just chill, or you can get to the heart of where this anxiety is coming from. And for me, when I look at that, a lot of times it's about disappointing people. It's not about not measuring up to my own expectations, but it's about measuring up to the expectations of other people. And there's a lot of stress associated with that. Or it's just wanting to, you know, be where I'm supposed to be, not be behind in any way. So there's that anxiety of like, hey, am I, measuring up here? Am I where I'm supposed to be according to where all my friends are? And so that can just be crushing sometimes. And I don't want you to just put it down like, hey, like I don't need to think about that. I don't need to, like, let's talk about where that's coming from. And if you haven't done this in your own life, man, start identifying where these thoughts and these feelings and this anxieties or depression or just like feelings of worthlessness or whatever it is, where is that coming from? Because God wants to meet us in the midst of that. I think there's a big misunderstanding that God is somehow disconnected from those things. Like he's concerned with our standing morally, like we gotta measure up to God's standard. But then we understand the gospel and we're like, okay, wait, no, Jesus is taking that punishment on himself so we can be forgiven. And that's great and that's wonderful, but a lot of people just stop there and they forget that, wait, Jesus has something to say about our souls, about our mental health, about our anxieties, about our depressions, about our just motivation to wake up in the morning. Like God has something to say about that. And I don't necessarily have like answers for all this, right? Like I can't tell you how to stop being anxious, or I can't tell you how to because I don't have the answers to that. The only thing I can do is for me, and part of the reason I'm making this video is just to say those anxieties are real, and they're not, you're not crazy, but you also don't need to stay there. Like there is actual hope for you in this. And I have to believe that for myself. Like I have to believe that maybe I'll go through my life and just continuing to have to battle up against crippling anxiety at some points and just like power through. But I believe that God can heal. But like I said, it's not this prosperity gospel like, you say little couple words or you say this thing or pray this prayer and then all of a sudden boom bang, you're fixed. But it's like I'm gonna talk about it and I'm gonna be aware of it. I'm gonna acknowledge it and I'm gonna work through this and I'm gonna invite God into this story of of a big like struggle of my life because He's my Father. I want to invite Him into this. Um, and I think there's a place too. I don't want to make this video too long, but I guess I'll just get into it. Like there's a place too for other people in your life as well. Like you need people in your life that you can be honest with, that you can share this with. And I realize a lot of people they just don't have that. And for a long time like it's never you have it and then you're set. Like you're always trying to figure out these different friendships and relationships or whatever that you can be honest and authentic and have that connection. And it's work and it's a lot of work, but it's so important too. Like we how can we heal if we are never able to speak openly and honestly about what we're going through with people that care about us? And so maybe all your relationships right now are just surface level and maybe you just don't even feel like this would be something that you could bring up to somebody. But I would just encourage you, obviously you want to be wise and you don't want to just be vulnerable with people that are just gonna dismiss you. But it is a little bit of a you need to take some risks, like go a little bit, be a little bit more honest in each conversation, a little bit more vulnerable, and just see the reaction that you get, and just see if that relationship might and friendship might turn into something more deep or more important, or more like meaningful. Yeah, yeah. I think that's pretty much all I have to say. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll be back with another video. I just thought, you know what? You might not get, you might not get a scripted video or about a special topic, but you can at least hear from me this week. I love you guys. Those of you who are on Patreon, there's 23 Patreon supporters right now. It's an amazing thing. I am like so thankful every day. I'm like, I get to do this as part of my job. It's crazy. So yeah, thank you for those of you who are on Patreon. And God bless, guys, and I'll see you next time.